Hi, I'm Dennis Sheeran.
And I'm Raymond Steinmetz from the Instant Relevance Podcast. And we're part of the Education Podcast Network, just like the show you're listening to now. Shows on the network are individually owned and opinions expressed may not reflect others. Find other interesting education podcasts at edupodcastnetwork.com.
Welcome to the Educational Duct Tape Podcast with Jake Miller.
Hello there, duct tapers, and welcome into this mini episode of the Educational Duct Tape Podcast. Typically, I don't do a personalized introduction to the mini episodes. I normally just play one that I already kind of queued up for mini episodes, as the mini episodes are just little interviews that I recorded at a conference or something like that. But today, I wanted to record a special one because I do have a special guest this episode. I want to give a shout out. This is Mike Feldman is my guest today. We spoke back in February at the OETC conference here in Columbus, Ohio, and Mike currently is looking for a new job for the 2020-2021 school year. So if you know of anyone looking for an awesome tech integration specialist or coach or 4th through 9th grade math, science, or reading teacher, please hit Mike up at the contact information that I put in the show notes. He is an awesome guy, and you will not be disappointed that you did. And you're going to find out as you listen to this episode how qualified and how awesome Mike really is. Now, for those of you who might be new to the mini episode format, these are just short episodes that are just interviews that I did at an event, as I mentioned earlier, and they don't have the certificates for listening, laughing, and learning just because they're so short, but we'll get back to that next week with our regular full-length episode, which will have certificates of listening, laughing, and learning. A reminder that next week's full episode is the Season 2 finale episode, and therefore will be an episode where you get to share some of your successes from the classroom with the rest of us. So if you used anything that you learned about in the show in your classroom and had great success with it, we would love to hear about it. So head to eduducttape.com/season, the number 2, share, season 2 share, and share with us one of the successes that you had in your classroom, preferably one that relates to something you learned about on the show, and it will be most likely featured in next week's June 17th episode. Without further ado, let's jump into my interview with Mike Feldman. Again, hit Mike up if you know of any job opportunities for him. He is an awesome dude, and you won't be disappointed that you did.
Today's guest.
All right, I'm here at the Ohio Educational Technology Conference. We call it OETC here in Ohio. We're in Columbus. It is February 2020, and I'm here with my buddy Mike Feldman. And Mike, I'll let you explain a little bit about who you are and what you do and where you're at.
So this year I'm at Orange City Schools. I am a level 1 and level 2 Google certified educator. You can find me on Twitter at FeldmanTech. And I am currently a technology integration specialist.
Awesome. And in a middle school, right?
Yes.
Right. Cool. And you do a lot of stuff relating to maker movement, and you work in a fab lab and stuff like that too. And so your big passion, I know, came this year with working in a fab lab, and it's making pens, right? Yeah. So tell us about the pens a little bit.
So I've always been interested in using a wood lathe ever since I fell down the YouTube rabbit hole of watching people take recycled colored pencils from like kindergarten classes and making them into vases. And I'm not there yet, but I'm getting pretty decent at pens. So if you want a customized pen, hit me up for that too.
Nice. Awesome. Yeah, I know. So the at Brady Middle School, where Mike is at, there's a wood lathe in the middle school fab lab, and Mike and the assistant principal, Darla Wagner, have both become really excited about making the pens. So I know you've been geeking out about the pens.
Yeah,
but
we each have our own wood lathes and took our passions from the classroom. And the kids are getting excited because I walk around with these fancy pens.
Yeah,
it's awesome.
They probably think it's really cool to see you like excited about making something, right? To see you being a maker and just having.
They think I'm a total dork, and I
am. Right. Yeah, but it sends a good message to them that like you can get excited about just creating something. Like it's not your work. Like that's not what you're being paid to do necessarily. Although you're modeling something that you're paid to do. Like you're just excited about making something just out of passion, and they see that. Yeah. Yep. Okay. So a little bit of educational duct tape for today. So as you know already, Mike, but in case anybody's a new listener, educational duct tape is my goofy metaphor that educational technology is at its best when we're using it as a tool to solve a problem or meet a goal or address a learning standard. So the problem I'm going to ask you, and this is a problem that a lot of people in tech coach roles, kind of like you're in, deal with, is how can we gamify professional development? How can we make our staff in our building excited about learning new things, and how can we make it fun for them? So how can we gamify that experience?
So I started last year at OETC and the Google Summit, just going to different presentations that other schools were doing about motivating teachers to want to use technology, to answer those whys, to find the verbs, to find the nouns that they're using to make their lives easier, make the students' learning better. And a lot of it had to do with gamification. This is my first year at Brady Middle School, and I wanted to take the challenge of getting teachers who weren't intrinsically motivated and finding a way to get them motivated. So I took some of the aspects of badging and took some of the aspects of just giving random points that really mean nothing except higher points for what I value better in the classroom, and trying to find a way to shoehorn it into building the rapport and getting teachers re-excited about their one-to-one program. Because I believe Orange has been one-to-one, especially at Brady, for 5 years. The ooh and the ah has worn off with some of the veteran teachers, and it's hard to re-excite people. So what we did was, there's a team of us, and we sat down the first days of school and talked about what has been done in the past, what has worked, what hasn't worked. Right. So we decided to take a monthly newsletter that was just a plain Jane email and spice it up. Focus on one teacher who did something amazing, one tool that we think is pedagogically appropriate for the age level, and maybe something new that the district purchased to show it off and show our excitement about it. And in conjunction with that, we also started an in-house Flipgrid channel where we post a question and we get some responses.
What kind of questions are those? Like how would you do this?
So one of our most successful question was, what is a question you want answered? Okay. What is something that is annoying to you that you want streamlined?
I see.
And we got some really tough questions. One of the questions was how to make a spreadsheet where each kid only sees their own progress, but she wants to see all of the kids' progress at a glance. And it's been a challenge to find an answer that is doable for her, but I think we're close.
Right. So you kind of use that like in place of your regular email stuff. Like it's a new way for them to like request help or like say this is something I want to do, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And surprisingly, more teachers are willing to show their face and their voice than type it out. I don't know if it's easier to say it and then type it, but that works. So also with that, we rolled out our tech challenges. Mm-hmm. And our tech challenges range from like, ask us a question via, hey, passing in the hallway, don't even have to stop. Hey, can you do this for me? Or can you show me this later? 5 points right there. Okay. We put Google Certified on it. Level 1, we were given 50 points. Okay. Level 2, 100 points. We recently purchased Newsela Pro, so we put that at 100 points because that is a really easy process but very time-consuming. Okay. And different things like that. Like you mentioned, we have our Fab Lab. We did 5 points a period for bringing a class into there. We have, I don't want to call them cafe nooks, but for lack of a better, cafe nooks in our media center. Okay. So booking a class into the cafe nooks, we put as points because it's a brand new space and we want teachers using it for student collaboration. Yeah. Different district goals, our goals. We worked with our curriculum director to work those into the curriculums more and things like that, which has really been helpful. We have a teacher, it's the middle of third quarter. He has 165 points already. Wow, yeah. And we're finding that teachers who were using us are using us more, and teachers who weren't using us are more inclined to use us. And they all do this little shimmy dance when you okay, that's 5 points, go put it in. Yeah. Most of the time it's us putting in the points for them, but that's not the goal. Right. The goal is to get them to utilize the tools that they have available.
You need them to enter the points themselves as long as they're doing it. So how is it being recorded? Like where is it that they're entering the points? How is it how are they seeing where they're at and their standings in like the rankings in this game and stuff like that?
So I set up a hidden formula just to sum the whole row. Each row is going to be the teacher, and the first row in each column is a different description of what task we want them to complete and how many points it's worth. Okay. Some of them are worth 1 point. Some of them are worth, like I said earlier, 100 points. Okay, so yeah, Google Sheets, and we shared it out, and we share it out every time on our newsletter, along with a couple other links like what's coming up, whether it's testing, whether it's appointment slots to book us, stuff like that.
Right. So it's kind of interesting how you guys are doing this, because obviously, like, your goal in that situation would be for them all, like every educator, to be intrinsically motivated to add some new technology to their repertoire that improve what they do in the classroom. And you already have some who are doing that, and you already have some who maybe want to do that, but that motivation isn't helping them find the time or the drive to do it. They want to, but not find the time. So you're adding in like an extrinsic piece that makes it fun, and then hopefully, like you're saying, with some of those teachers that are doing it more often, like is like a catalyst to them becoming more intrinsically motivated to make those things happen. And is that what you see happening?
Yeah, absolutely. When I look at coaching teachers, I look at them almost at a coordinate plane, if we want to take a math approach to it. Low will, high will, low skill, high skill. Right. Everybody falls on there somewhere. Right. And this addresses all of their needs. And that's my philosophy of coaching, which very easily lends itself to the educational duct tape philosophy, is that meet the teachers where they're at, get the kids a better education when it's accessible, when it's appropriate for technology.
Yeah. I like the one thing you're doing there is that you're not saying like that your process isn't really like super black and white. Like, these are the only things you could do to earn these points. Like, that there's a variety of things where they could just come to you and ask for help, and it could be a tool that nobody else is using that you haven't even considered getting integrated. Like, if it fits there, you support them in integrating that tool, and then they get the points for it, even though it wasn't one of the predetermined tools. Like, there are some things that are a little bit more, I don't know, like there's some gray area in there for the teachers to be empowered to make decisions about what is best for their classrooms or their learners, Oh,
absolutely. And one of the things that we also have going for us is the school district has really taken a look at student security, and some of the tools that were okay to use in the past there are no longer okay, and they have till like the end of the year to phase out of them. Right. So they're looking to us because their way of doing things in the past is changing. Right. And we've also taken suggestions from teachers. So each quarter we have different tasks. And some of the tasks are the same, and we add to them. Some of them we change the point values because we realized, that took a lot of time. Yeah. Or in this quarter, we really changed, like, we added things that were worth way more point values. Because there were some teachers that just blew it out of the water out of the gates, and you couldn't catch them. And that was defeating the purpose of the whole thing. So going back and adjusting our why, our how, right. And it's going really good, I think.
Yeah, that sounds great. I like how so you're kind of aligning the point values not just to how like complicated something might be to pull off, but what you're really prioritizing too, right? So if it's a big priority thing or a big change that really is meeting your goals, like you were saying with your why there, then it's going to be worth more points, right? Cool. Well, I really appreciate you sharing about this, Mike. Before we're done, we got to do our on-air selfie. You ready?
Yep.
Okay, this is the tricky part. Turn the camera around. Here we go. All right. Well, thanks for being here today, Mike. I appreciate it, man.
Thank you for listening to the Educational Duct Tape Podcast. Please visit eduducttape.com to join the discussion, share possible topics, inquire about being a guest, or contact Jake. And remember, duct is spelled with a T, not a quack quack K.